She was the princess no man could satisfy, powerful, untouchable, untouched. Suitors came with kingdoms and swords, and left in shame. But then he came. No title. No fear. No mercy. He didn't come to win her, he came to break her. What followed shook the gods themselves. Was the only daughter of the king and queen of Velmyra, a kingdom woven with silk, sunlight, and untold stories. From the day she was born, the stars whispered of her greatness. Her beauty was beyond compare, and her aura carried the weight of centuries. The royal family cherished her, and the people adored her. Travelers came from the ends of the earth just to glimpse her grace. But within all the admiration, one truth echoed through hushed voices. Princess Elira is different, they said. No prince, no warrior, no soul has ever touched her heart. And they were right. Despite the efforts of nobles and knights, Elira remained unmoved. Her heart was an untouched temple, no man had dared enter and stayed. King Malric, proud and powerful, had grown weary of watching one suitor after another leave in defeat. Warriors with unbreakable swords, merchants with gold from distant islands, scholars with wisdom carved in runes, none could win her. The court murmured. Why does she reject them all? Is she cursed? At last, King Malric made a bold proclamation. He who wins my daughter's heart shall receive half of Velmyra. Fail, and you shall never return. The challenge ignited the land. Suitors arrived like waves on a shore, each confident, each hopeful. The first, a giant of a man, voice loud like drums. I've slain beasts with bare hands, he boasted. Elira's reply. A quiet smile. Do you believe strength alone is enough? He laughed. What else matters? Elira stepped close, eyes locked. Then why do your hands shake? And they were trembling. He left in shame, thunder silenced. Next, a merchant, drowning in luxury. I offer silk, gems, spices. You will never want for anything. But Elira asked. What good is gold if my heart remains empty? He bowed in silence and vanished into the crowd. They came, they failed, some bitter, some broken. Whispers grew. She mocks them. She is cursed. No man is enough. Even the gods began to stir. One evening, the doors of the grand chamber groaned open. And in stepped Kael. He did not bow. He did not boast. He wore black, blacker than midnight. He moved like mist. His voice, a single word. Kael. Kael of where? Asked the king. Nowhere. The court rippled with laughter. A man with no title, no name, no kingdom. You think you're worthy? The king challenged. Kael looked not at the king, but at Elira. I've not come to prove my worth. I've come to see if she's worthy of mine. Gasps filled the room. Elira's smile faded. For the first time, someone had not arrived to worship her, but to test her. The court still echoed with Kael's words. I've not come to prove my worth. I've come to see if she's worthy of mine. Elira's fingers, resting on the carved arms of her throne, curled slightly. Her gaze was unreadable, but something flickered behind her eyes, a challenge accepted. King Malric leaned back. His voice cut through the stunned silence. The challenge remains. One night in the princess's chambers. If you fail, you are banished. Kael nodded once, his face still calm, as though none of this mattered to him at all. Whispers rose like wind among the courtiers. He will fail like the rest. He brings no sword, no gold, no gifts. Who does he think he is? Elira stood. Her eyes locked with Kael's. There is still time to walk away, she said, her voice calm, quiet, inviting and warning both. But Kael did not flinch. The grand doors closed behind them. The silence in the chamber felt thick, like velvet soaked in fire. Kael said nothing. He did not rush to speak, to show his worth, or to boast as so many before him had. His stillness was louder than thunder. Elira raised a brow, crossing her arms. "You hesitate," she said. Kael's voice was low, unwavering. "No. I wait." "For what?" "For you to stop pretending." The words landed hard. "Do not flatter yourself," she said, stepping forward. "You do not bow. You do not answer. You do not fear. Tell me, Kael, what is it that you do?" He tilted his head slightly, his gaze unwavering. "I test." Elira's smirk twitched. "Men come to impress me." Kael's lips curled into the faintest smile. "That's the difference." "I didn't." She walked around him, slowly, deliberately, fingers grazing the folds of his black cloak. "You're unlike them." "I know." "And you think I'm pretending?" "Yes." "And what do you think I pretend to be?" Kael stepped forward, only a single step, but the world seemed to shift with him. In control. Her breath caught. Just for a second. Elira had made kings stutter, warriors kneel, poets weep. She had always set the rules. And here stood a man who followed none. "You carry no weapons," she said. "I don't need any. No riches. Gold can't buy what you seek." "And what is it I seek?" Kael's voice dropped just above a whisper. "Someone who won't fall for you." His hand brushed against her golden cuff. Light. Fleeting. And it set fire to her skin. Her heart raced, not from fear, but from the realization that this time, she wasn't the hunter. She was the one being watched. Being judged. Being tested. She turned away, trying to find her breath. "You assume too much." Kael smirked. "You fear too much." She faced him, a mask of poise restored. "We'll see if you're still this bold by sunrise." Kael nodded, calm as night. "We shall." As the first light of dawn crept across the sky, the massive palace doors groaned once again. The entire kingdom of Valmyra held its breath. Would Kael walk out like the others, broken, defeated, ashamed? Or had something truly changed? And then, there he was. Kael stepped forward, unshaken. His black robe flowed behind him like a shadow stretched by the rising sun. His face bore no pride, no fear, no hint of triumph. He looked the same. Yet, something was undeniably different. A moment later, Elira followed. No smirk on her lips. No fire in her eyes. Her gaze was steady, unreadable, as she moved behind him like silence following a storm. Gasps rang through the court. "The princess has changed. She has been claimed." "No, she has been matched." King Malric rose slowly, eyes fixed on his daughter. In his many years, he had never seen her like this. Still. Silent. Softened. He turned to Kael, voice filled with awe. "You have done what no other man could. As promised, half the kingdom is yours." But Kael did not step forward. He did not kneel. He did not speak. Elira's stomach twisted. Something was wrong. Kael turned, meeting her gaze. His eyes, deep as forgotten wells, held something new, something final. Then he spoke, voice calm, yet heavy. The prophecy promised no reward, only a price. The court fell silent. King Malric's brow furrowed. "What price?" Kael raised his hands. The fingers were disappearing, fading like mist in the morning sun. Elira's heart jolted. "No." The whispers returned, loud and cold. "The gods demand a sacrifice." To tame the untamable, a soul must vanish. Kael looked at her, his expression soft, steady. I knew this was the cost. Tears stung Elira's eyes. You cannot leave, she whispered. It was always the way, Kael said, his voice barely above wind. No, she stepped forward, hands trembling. He was fading faster now, hands, arms, chest dissolving into nothing. She lunged, grabbing at him, but her hands passed through air. Kael, she cried. And for the first time, she was the one begging. He gave her a quiet smile, one final time. You were worth it. And then he was gone. The court stood frozen. No one moved. No one dared speak. Elira did not cry. She did not collapse. But inside her, something shattered, beyond repair. Time passed. The kingdom moved on. But Elira never did. She no longer laughed. She no longer watched the sun rise. She moved like a shadow of herself. At night, she would return to the place he vanished. She would close her eyes. And sometimes, just sometimes, the wind would whisper. Did you not say men were weak? She would smile. And whisper back. Not all of them. Seasons passed, but time did not touch Princess Elira. Her beauty remained, but the fire that once scorched in her spirit had dimmed into glowing embers. She still ruled. She still spoke. But her soul lived in the place between the seconds, in the whisper Kael left behind. Every night, she returned to the chamber where he vanished. She stood at the edge of the throne room, whispering into the darkness. And some nights, the wind whispered back. She sought the old texts once more. The forbidden ones. The ones that priests burned and kings locked away. She discovered stories of the realm between realms, a place of shadows and ghosts, where things not meant to return wait for those brave, or foolish, enough to follow. The price. Everything. One moonless night, Elira stood at the edge of the hollow vale, where the sky weeps into mist, and the air tastes like memory. She had left her crown behind. She wore no jewels, no gold, only a simple white cloak. The trees whispered to her in languages older than kingdoms. You cannot follow, they warned. He is gone. You are meant to rule. But she only whispered back. I am not a queen without him. With a blade forged in silence and a charm etched with Kael's name, Elira stepped across the threshold between worlds. The veil opened, not with fire, but with silence so deep it made the stars blink. She entered the place where time does not flow, and light has never existed. The realm between. There, the souls of the broken drifted like forgotten dreams. Voices cried out in languages never spoken. Shapes of sorrow and laughter, tangled into creatures that had never been born nor truly died, swirled around her. Elira walked through them, unshaken. She followed the only sound that wasn't screaming. A whisper. You said you would not fall. She turned. And there he was. Kael. But different. Faint, like a memory seen through a mirror in a storm. He blinked. You shouldn't have come. She stepped forward, tears stinging her eyes. You shouldn't have left. He smiled. You broke the balance. She lifted her chin. Then let the gods rebuild it. She reached for his hand. Their fingers touched. Solid. Real. The realm between recoiled. The gods awoke. They had done the impossible, brought a soul back through love. But the gods do not forgive broken rules. The skies above Valmyra split open. Lightning struck temples. The rivers reversed. A voice, older than existence, roared from above. You have undone the silence. Now the silence must claim you. The skies over Valmyra were no longer blue. They burned with gold fire and violet storm clouds, divine rage made visible. Lightning struck down the spires of the Temple of Light. The sacred waters boiled. The statues of forgotten gods bled stone. The people fell to their knees in terror. And at the edge of the realm between, Kael and Elira stood hand in hand, hearts steady as the heavens tore above them. You defied us, thundered the voice of the gods. You broke the balance, another boomed. You pulled him back from silence, hissed a third. Kael stepped forward, his eyes no longer hollow but burning with something new, hope. I did not return by choice, he said. She came for me. And I answered. Elira squeezed his hand tighter. You took him once. You will not take him again. The gods roared. The sky trembled. Then fight for him. The ground split open. From the chasm emerged the Unmakers, celestial beasts formed from shattered stars and abandoned prayers. Teeth like obsidian. Wings like torn banners of night. Kael's cloak tore itself into armor of living shadow. Elira drew her blade, the one she had forged from her vow. The blade of silence breaker. They fought. Not with brute force, but with faith, fearlessness, and fire of the heart. Elira danced through flame and fong, her blade slicing through divine illusions. Kael moved like a whisper through a storm, tearing apart lies the gods hurled at them. Each cut, each parry, each breath was defiance. The gods raged. You were meant to be alone. You were never meant to love. You are mortal. And Elira screamed back. Then let mortality win. With one final strike, she and Kael joined hands and plunged their blades into the heart of the realm, a golden core that pulsed with ancient laws. And everything went still. The next breath the world took was softer. Lighter. The skies cleared. The fire faded. The gods vanished. And in their absence, something new was born. The balance was not broken. It was rewritten. Velmyra awoke to peace. And from the ruins of silence, rose a new legend. The queen who defied the gods. And the shadow who became her light. Elira no longer sat on a throne. She walked among her people, Kael always at her side. The kingdom thrived not through fear or rule, but through love that would not bend, would not break, and would not be erased. At night, when the wind rustled the trees just right, the children of Velmyra would swear they heard a whisper. Weak men fall. Strong ones remain. But only the true return.